What is happening with the Nintendo community today? What is going on? Why is everyone acting so weird and so strange and posting such cryptic things hinting at something that nobody wants to actually touch on and talk about? I'm going to talk about it because there's so much going on all at once. There's so many weird posts from Nintendo insiders that something might be brewing. So what's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Brew up those likes, brew up those comments. Let's brew up some witchy stew and talk about what is new. We know Nintendo's been super odd all month. June's just a freaking, I don't know, kind of a train wreck. They kind of saved some face with a really good partner showcase, but why are they being so weird? One of the options was like, oh, maybe they have some big announcement that they're saving up for later in the summer, but then we kind of like dismissed that, like, no, Nintendo's just, I don't know, they do their own thing, they don't really care. Now today, I'm concerned, confused, and suspicious, so let me know what you think in the comments down below. This begins with Nate the Hate, all right? This is Nate Drake, and he was one of the original people that talked a lot about a Switch Pro, a DLSS Switch, right? And he says, felt like a good time to retweet this, not for any specific reason. Felt like a good time to retweet this, not for any specific reason. That sounds like the biggest flashing lights, like pay attention. And he's retweeting from October 14th, 2021, a YouTube podcast about Nintendo's next-gen dev kits being sent to developers. If you remember this story, Bloomberg and Nate Drake and others reported that Nintendo was sending out 4K Switch dev kits and that a number of developers had them and were working on stuff. So that's odd. Why is he tweeting that today and saying, felt like a good time? Why? Nintendo said nothing. There haven't been rumblings. Well, maybe it's after yesterday in the shareholder report where we saw that their raw materials has been climbing to a level that is double what it was back when the Switch Lite released. Okay, they clearly are getting a lot of raw materials for something. Could this be the something? But the story gets weirder from here because then Nate Drake replies, actually to beat 'em ups, who some of you probably know. He was talking about wanting Genshin Impact, where's the Nintendo Switch version? And DirectFeed Games, who's also Nate Drake, says, in development for the Switch DLSS model. Why today? Both at the same time. In development for the Switch DLSS model. That's the upscale, the algorithm that helps things look better and look 4K with less hardware power. He's saying, like, just straight up saying Genshin's in development. And then he tweets the thing about, oh, put this here. Was the Genshin developer sent a Switch dev kit? Were they sent this upgraded model dev kit, and are they building it for a soon release? Now, to complicate things even more, Mark Amaro, who he's been up and down, but he does seem to have some insider knowledge. He gets some things right that are hard to get wrong, rather hard to get right. And he says, it's real and it's coming. It's a gif of Jennifer Lawrence, and he's responding to Nate Drake's felt like a good time to retweet this. It's real and it's coming. Obviously implying a new Switch console. Then we go over to Famiboards, which is basically like the NeoGAF Reset Era splinter group just for Nintendo. And Nate Drake says that if Nintendo was going to produce a new system this year, it would enter production in July, because that's when the Switch Lite and the OLED entered production, and that's conveniently also when they announced the Switch Lite and the Switch OLED. Switch Lite on July 10th, Switch OLED on July 6th. They announced it when it entered production because otherwise it would have leaked out there. You'd have people posting pictures on 4chan of like, oh my God, I'm at the factory and look, it's a freaking swanky old Switch. It's all blue and neon, or I don't know. They already have blue. It's all red. They've had red Switches, but like this one's just super red. Now, to make things even more interesting, it's about to be July. Nintendo didn't do much in June. They didn't have a first party direct in June. And now we're approaching July. And all these weird rumblings are going on. And they have humongous raw materials. And it's July. Could Nintendo be prepping a really big boom with announcement of a 4K console and a July first party showcase? Now, I want to tell you that this is grain of salt territory. This is unlikely. Most likely Nintendo is just being strange because they're freaking Nintendo. That is a lot of weirdness for one day. Tell me I'm wrong. That is a lot of weirdness for one couple hour period, all in a row. I'm not pulling morsels from weeks apart. I'm pulling tweets and comments from literally hours apart. It's a lot of strange rumblings for one darn day. We do know that there's more announcements coming, stuff like a Metroid Prime Remaster. We basically are assured of that by Nate Drake and by Jeff Grubb. And they've got to talk about Mario Kart DLC, they've got to talk about Switch Online, they've got to talk about Advance Wars, and probably Bayonetta 3. It seems like something's coming. Mark Amaro says that there are 3 events happening for Nintendo this summer. 1 was Xenoblade Chronicles, 2 was the Partner Showcase, and he says 3 is coming very soon. Could 3 be a hardware announcement? Now, to add to this, Nintendo over in Europe trademarked NSW, which is just the abbreviation for Nintendo Switch, but could that play a role in some sort of naming convention for their new system? We all assume like Super Switch, Switch Pro, but this is the same company that called the sequel to the Wii U. So anything is fair game. And all of this together makes me wonder if we really are going to be blown off our feet. Because right now we're sitting in a position where we're like, Nintendo is taking it easy. They're coasting. They're doing their own drum dance. They're like, we are going slowly into Splatoon and Pokemon because we know they'll sell. But what if they're not? What if they're actually prepping something wild and crazy? If a new Switch is to launch in 2022, any new Switch, Switch Pro, Light OLED, freaking random Nintendo model that has 2 screens, it would need to be announced pronto because it needs to enter production July to ship this year, and they would want to get the word out before the word got out before them. You know what I'm saying? Before the leaks really sort of took control of the story. With both the Lite and the OLED, Nintendo just dropped a trailer on YouTube, and there it was. There was no pre-announcement, there was no direct, it was just bam, there it was. If you remember last year, all the chaos around Switch Pro, nothing happened at E3, and then a random morning on July 6, 2021, the Switch OLED trailer was here, and we learned what that system was. We had no indication or clue that that was coming, and then boom, it came. Nintendo could do that to us. I'm not saying it's likely, I'm saying it's possible, and I'm wondering why key members of the community are being very weird, Nate Drake in particular. Why is now a good time to tweet this out? I would think it makes more sense for Nintendo to position this system more alongside the launch of Breath of the Wild 2, but Pokemon Scarlet and Violet ain't a bad game to pair up with a new system either, especially if it's an open world Pokemon that has 4-player co-op and needs a little more oomph to run and look really, really pretty. And if you've perfected some better graphics with Metroid Prime Remastered and you want to give people a hint at what Metroid Prime 4 is going to look at, kind of seems like maybe. It kind of seems like maybe. I'm not going to tell you it's happening. I'm just going to tell you we should keep our ears up. We should look for more instances of this. And I know some people are like, no, don't talk about Switch Pro until it happens. But the truth is, the Switch Pro is happening. Maybe it's not called Switch Pro, but there will be a stronger Switch system at some point. Nintendo is working on the next thing. They always are. It may not be this year. It may not be in the near future, but it will happen. So it is valid and important to talk about. These signals, these signs. If developers have had dev kits for like a year now, or maybe even more, this information, it's been out there for a while. Something could be brewing. Something could be happening, and July is the month. And I don't want to connect the dots too much. I was good at those when I was a kid though. And nothing in June leading towards something in July, where July is your hardware month, Nintendo has proven it. I don't know, it's pretty peculiar. And just the weird behavior today, like no one's saying it, but they're also kind of really hinting at it. So we're gonna have to wait and see. I do think something Nintendo is gonna happen in July. Whether that's just a slew of Twitter announcements, whether that is a general direct, whether that is a hardware announcement, something is gonna happen in July for Nintendo. It just feels like there's a lot out there that is unknown. We've got announcements, we've got release dates, we've got Mario Kart. I mean, that stuff has to go down. So Nintendo will do something. Could it be a new console? And would you be freaking pumped if this fall was bolstered, not by Donkey Kong or new Mario, but bolstered by a new Switch? And I will point out that yesterday Ubisoft had their Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope showcase, and that game does look notably better. And when Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope was initially shown off, some people were chattering that this game looks too good to run on Switch, and maybe it's a sign of a Switch Pro. That was back at last year's E3 when Ubisoft unveiled the game, and it looked good, and it looks just as good or better now, and it looks leaps better than Mario Rabbids. I posted a video comparing Kingdom Battle and Sparks of Hope. My goodness, they've made a jump. Is that jump just because they're better? Davide really got them down to grind on those graphics? Or is it because there's a new system? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know how you feel about this. I'll keep you posted. Right now, it's definitely like low-key rumor territory. but there's weird rumblings in the Switch community. There's weird behavior from some different people, and I want us to keep an eye on it, because if it happens, let's make sure that we got the lowdown, the truth, and we are really on top of it here at SwitchForce. You know I got you covered, so thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there, and until next time, my wonderful friends, love you a lot, appreciate you even more. Fingers crossed for hardware. SwitchForce, out.